It's a little after 7:15. A very good morning to you if you're just joining us. Let's bring you this story. Nearly 30 Western Cape schools have been closed as COVID-19 infections increase in the province. Teachers are threatening to shut down schools. They want Education MEC Debbie Schäfer to step down, saying she's bullying those standing up for their rights. Well, let's speak to the MEC now, who joins us via Skype. MEC Schäfer, good morning to you. Let's start with that last point. You're being accused of bullying tactics and some want you to go.
That's always the case in politics, unfortunately. I don't do the bullying. If anyone does any bullying, I don't run the department. I lead the department. My head of department is the one who manages it from day to day. But I don't think there's any bullying. I think that we are trying to provide the public service that we're being paid to do, and that some people seemingly don't want to do that. I just heard your previous interview regarding taxis. Everyone else is wanting to open up. People are needing to go back to work, but some people don't want to go back and teach children. So I don't think there's any bullying. I think we are trying to implement the National Minister's instruction to open schools again.
But MEC, I suspect this is the reason why people are saying how you approach this. You are unsympathetic. You are making a comparison to the taxi industry. But for teachers and children at school, they're saying that this is a very scary period for them, particularly in your province where a peak in the COVID-19 infections is just around the corner.
That's the point. You see, we know it's a scary period for everyone. We're all affected by it, no question about it. But the point is, it's everyone who's affected. So we know that it's a very scary period, and we've done a lot of things to try and ensure that schools are prepared for it, that they are getting the required information. But it seems that some teachers aren't getting that information, and that they aren't getting the leadership from their principals that we are expecting from them. So we will send some officials to those schools where there was a protest yesterday, and we will ask them to assist those schools in implementing the protocols.
MEC, why is it important for Western Cape schools to remain open? Your department has even been quoted as saying only a court order will perhaps force you to shut down.
That was in a particular context when there was the whole confusion regarding the date of the 1st or the 8th. That was the context in which I said that, because the Human Rights Commission was trying to stop us from teaching children that particular week. I didn't say it in any other. That was the specific context in which I said those words. The Western Cape, as people like to point out, is part of South Africa, and the National Minister has gazetted that schools are now open. So, that is a decision that's been taken. So she also said yesterday on a briefing to the NCOP that I'll quote her, she said, the horse is now bolted. Now, if parents want to keep their children home, there are now provisions for them to be able to do that on certain conditions. So that will cover that. We've put in place, as she also said, the decision was not made lightly. To open schools again. It was done on consultation with the National Coronavirus Command Council, where there are medical experts who are internationally renowned, and they are all saying that schools should be open. We all know where the economy is going at the moment as well, and people desperately need to go back to work. On the other hand, we have the ECD sector that's desperately wanting to reopen, and they're not being allowed to. Yeah. So it's a very difficult balancing act. That's absolutely so. And we will certainly do everything we can to support teachers, but we do need to get back to some semblance of normality, as Professor Karim has been telling us.
COVID-19 compliance, MEC, in the schools, specifically health and safety measures. Where are these infections coming from? Is it infections that are happening within school premises, or are people bringing the infection from wherever they live?
It's not always easy to tell that. Obviously, in the beginning, when schools first opened, they were coming from the community. We had a number of teachers infected before schools opened, as well as quite a number of people under 20. We don't know how many of them were in school or not. But the fact is, communities, it does spread in communities. We are not seeing an indication of spread at schools. We are obviously looking at the numbers all the time. The 30 schools that you refer to, that is kind of an average at the moment. They're not all necessarily COVID cases. We're also having some community what's the word, interference, actually. I mean, and yesterday I was really concerned to see a video of people who had just barged into a school, which is actually putting our teachers and learners at risk. So those are some of the issues that are also keeping schools closed. But when you look at that, that's 30 out of our 1,509 schools. You know, we can't keep every school closed because some schools aren't open. So we are compliant. We've delivered all the necessary 2 masks per learner, 2 masks per teacher. We've delivered the the hygiene equipment, bleach and soap and so on. So that is all being delivered, except for a few last-minute items that need to be delivered for the next cohort that's coming on the 6th of July. But they will all be delivered by the end of the month. So that is all in place. We've given detailed protocols, detailed circulars to tell people what needs to be done, how to do it, to try and assist people in navigating this very difficult space.
MEC, the date of 6th July is fast approaching. That's when we are going to see more grades being phased in. Is the Western Cape just as determined to see more grades coming into the schools? And I want you to answer that question with the figure of 236 schools that have been affected. These are reports we are getting. You can confirm that for us. So apart from the 30 that are closed, there are 236 that are affected by COVID-19.
There are people at 236 schools who are affected. I mean, if that figure is correct, I haven't got it with me right now, but they are, as I said, it's not our decision to make. It's a gazetted date that has been promulgated. In fact, we've actually had over 200 schools asking for additional grades to come back earlier than that, and many of them have been given that permission. So we will proceed with that with all the protocols in place. We've asked schools to ensure that they have a plan for ensuring that we don't compromise the required distance between learners in classrooms, which may involve some people coming some days, some other days, and so on, and they can get work in between. But at the moment, the gazetted date is the 6th of July for some grades, and then I think the 3rd of August for the rest.
Just finally then, MEC, and very briefly, if you can, specifically on the call for you to step down, are you prepared to do that? Is this still the job for you? Are you prepared? Are you, physically and mentally, are you still up to the challenge?
I am not prepared to step down. I was appointed by the Premier. If he feels that that I'm not doing my job adequately, then it's up to him to make that decision.
MEC Debbie Schäfer from the Western Cape, thank you very much for your time.